So, my old friend in my memory, all he ever wanted was to make his big brother proud. He walked in his brother's shadows and growing up fighting to living together as adults. When I first started, this is what I said in the last video. So when I first started, it was a partnership. So that's why there's so much of it. Well, why do you write about? That's why we were. It was an unspoken agreement in a very childlike, merry-go-round, unbreakable bond way. So I still feel that, and that's why I carry on because I want to finish. I want to complete it as I envisioned it in the beginning. So throughout the process, we fought a little like it's our Facebook. It was a creation. What need I couldn't have I couldn't have done it without his help, and it wouldn't have he couldn't have done it without my help. So when we took away of this like idea of what we thought it would be, and then we just sat down at the desk like we were in fifth period and we just got the work done and turned the assignment in. We're brilliant. We're geniuses. So that's where we're at now. We're like, we are so intelligent. We are the most intelligent people in the whole world. We might be paranoid schizophrenic, but we are pretty smart. So in my delusions, so one of my delusions was I think that Mr. Pyro is alive. So that was what was alarming and ended up in the hospital. I thought that he was alive, and I'm that is why I went and got some medicine. I had written him so well for so long that I felt like he was alive. Now, I know he is not. I know the events, I know all the technical things, but when you are mentally unwell, you can't. Somebody be like, Stacy, that's not true. And I'd be like, it feels very true because he's standing behind you. So that's when it was time for me to get help. Now, I am clairvoyant, which means I have strong intuition. I can feel things. I can speak to places that most people can't reach because I meditate. I don't watch television. I spend all my time trying to reach greater parts of my brain. So that's what gets that's who I am. So, and then my fear was that my old friend never recovered after the apple. So these are all cleared up, and I'm also on medications. I remember things well. Since we have talked, I'm carrying on with our pursuit to get our Oscar, and then Mr. Pyro won't allow us to give up. And it's just as if we were kids. So getting in line, just it's heaven. So a lot of delusions I don't remember. I type stories randomly to people, and this is treated with medication. And what I remember is reality. So at night, I'm stuck in my storybook. So before I got my medications, at night I text everything that's going on in my story in my head, which is storyline. It's delusions. Now, with medications, I can discern delusions from reality a lot better. So I'm going through all of my writing and going, this is a delusion, clearly. This is reality, clearly. This is a fantasy writing, clearly, because all of my writings are together in this big pot. So nobody really understands, does she believe this or is this a story? So what I'm doing now is this is a delusion, this is reality, this is fantasy, this is what I want to happen. This is a manifestation. So when you write in those four circles, it makes it all very confusing for me. So when I'm going through it, I'm going, what's going on? And I realize that it's because I was paranoid schizophrenic. Now, paranoid schizophrenic is nothing to be scared of. If I take my medications as prescribed and on a regular basis, I'm the lovely Stacy that everyone loves all the time. So this is a graphic of my old friend and then my shadow version of self. And then this is Joey King with a young, my old friend. This is Joey King with a young, my old friend. So this would be the dynamic, would be Ben Affleck as Mr. Pyro, and then my young old friend. That's very much how they were. They were very different, but very similar. And it should be noted, when I was a young girl, I heard that's all he ever talked about. He was my best friend, and all he ever talked about was his big brother. So I want to share those memories with him, because I lose people, and they're very precious to you when you get older. This is going to be Mr. Pyro and Mr. Pyro, Shadow Mr. Pyro. So Mr. Pyro will be a guardian angel. So the guardians in my galaxy are angels that I wrote alive. My disease started to believe all my fake stories. It's storyline. When I went too far in my rabbit hole, what I've worked on remembering reality. And reality is a lot of chasing around looking for his little brother. In the series, I talk to angels. Now, this is a disease, but it's rote. So Ben will protect me and protect his family from me. The start in staring at the sun with these two. The role of Sister C, Margaret Robbie. Mr. Pyro was my life because he. The role of Sister C is Margaret Robbie. Mr. Pyro was in my life because he was friends with my older sister. I was best friends with his little brother, and she was best friends with one of his girlfriends. My delusions stay stuck in my childhood mind, listening to made up stories of the dynamic, writing to understand my past. My sister is my childhood, and we have been out of each other's lives, but our mental health hurt each other. We work tirelessly to be healthy for each other. She is more than being her worst day. She is Barbie. She is bigger than the universe to my old friend and I. And when we talked in the park in December 2020, the mission, save myself to save her, then she can save me. And it worked swimmingly. We manifested her wellness. Now she is saving me. The delusions with these circle run the delusions with this circle runs deep. What is it about? I miss them. I grieve them. And although they are alive. This is a picture of young Stacy and my sister C. My sister C and my shadow Jennifer. Blake and my sister C. Blake is just Blake. Blake and Mr. Pyro. Margaret and Mr. Pyro. Margaret, my shadow Jennifer and Blake. Margaret and my young old friend. So my young old friend and my sister C, they kind of had like a little, she was my hot older sister, so he was always real eager to take me home all the time. And then my shadow Jennifer and my sister C. And I put the pictures together because that's how most likely I'll be filming. So that is caught up on If My Life Was a Movie. So I'm probably going to read some Staring at the Sun. Thank you.